Hello, friends. Well, I am particularly thrilled by this post that I guess it was made about a year ago on Edward Art Supply's Reddit. But for whatever reason, this morning it was on top. Probably somebody had posted something, and so that probably brings them to be listed. And this particular Reddit post is called "Why Creation is Finished May Be the Most Important Understanding of All." Now, I had read this post probably a week or two ago, and I liked it. But man, when I read through it again this morning, it really clicked with me. And, that's the thing, too. When you're ready to receive information, it will come to you. It doesn't matter if you've read it before or whatever, like, the information will come and it will be really relevant. It'll really click. And that's what this did for me. So I took some notes, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I took, and I wrote out of that post what was really standing out to me personally. As always, I encourage you to go to Edward Art Supply's Reddit and check out the post for yourself. But this is what stood out for me on that post. Since there are infinite versions of yourself, being specific on how you want to be is achievable. All right? Which is, so being specific on what you want, how you want, who you want to be, is achievable. And we're gonna go on and talk about this. So Edward goes on to write, "We should not focus why we are not receiving, but instead become aware of being the version of yourself that has received." I think that is an incredibly important distinction, because if you're focused on what it is that you're lacking or perceiving that you're lacking about yourself or someone else or a situation, that's what you're giving your attention to. That's what you're giving your energy to. That's what you're going to get more of, right? Because that's the narrative that is then active. So go on to say, Edward goes on to say, all versions of yourself are yours. Why you don't, and this is, he talks about prayer a little bit in there. I made a note to myself. But basically that's why you don't have to pray to the sky or to some entity that you call God. Because you don't have to beg yourself for anything. It's already yours. Right? So, and I actually agree with that, because like I said in my post yesterday, I don't pray for people. I don't pray to God for myself, for things, or for a situation to be something different than what it is. Generally, don't feel like that's a really good use of my energy or my focus, because I'm not really interested in trying to there's a word that I'm trying to, but I'm not here to like petition. Well, Edward uses the word petition in that post. I don't have to petition God for anything, because, and that makes sense. Everything is yours already, right? We use imagination to grow and raise ourselves to versions we wish to be, which I think is a really powerful statement that Edward has just, put out there. That's okay. Well, I'm going to read more because I think it will swing back to why that makes sense. It is clear that the understanding of becoming aware of being of a version of yourself can alter the future. So, and I put in parentheses, your now experience to come, because all there is now, right? And he goes on to say, if you can conceptualize a different past, just as you can conceptualize a different future, it must exist. So if you are constantly repeating the past, it is because you are dwelling on it. Keeping it active is what I put in parentheses, keeping it active. If you cannot move on from the past, understand that since creation is finished, you can become aware of being a different version of yourself that has experienced the desirable past. Or basically, I can see myself having had the experience that I would have wanted to have had. And this is, I think, what revision is about, because that alters the way you're perceiving what happened in the past in your conscious now. So it alleviates continually bringing a past narrative that doesn't feel good, that is unwanted, into your present now, which is all there is, right? So Edward goes on to write, when we speak of future and past, we must not confuse this with the only time we can experience, which is now, which is what I just, pointed out, is that if you're bringing the past into the now and it doesn't feel good, that's going to be active. And that is a conflict, right? That is a conflicted focus, perspective, energy that you can't have conflict in your present moment and have the awareness of truth that you desire to experience in the now. It's like you can't have both, right? You're going to have one or you're going to have the other, but you can't have them both at the same time per se, and it feel good. So, we can only experience consciousness when we dwell on a past mistake. We are essentially becoming re-aware of being that version in the now. Oh my gosh. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I have brought the past, a past story, a past narrative, a past experience that I did not love or did not enjoy, or that just felt terrible, into my present moment. over and over and over again, thinking that by talking about it, it was helping me, right? It was helping me get it out. It was, like how sometimes you'll vent, you'll find somebody to vent to. All you're doing is keeping, and this is nothing to feel bad about, but to be aware of it is so powerful. You just keep that experience active in your now. And this is, so I'm going to go on and read more of what Edward wrote. Since consciousness is the only reality, we are not just dwelling on the past, but in fact reliving that experience, and we are being that version in reality. That, and he capitalizes being. And so for me, it's like, that is our beingness in the moment that we're experiencing, right? And that's why there's nothing to change but the self. You change the self by changing your awareness of whatever version you want to be in the now. You're changing the self by giving yourself the feeling that you want, right? So, Edward goes on to write, this is vitally important because our thoughts of the past that we dwell on do not recede, but proceed in our future. Because everything comes from consciousness, and consciousness can only experience now. What we experience now is what we are aware of being. Which version we are aware of being, what we are aware of being manifests. So, I don't know, but for me that is incredibly momentous. That